A driver was filming a storm when, without warning, a tornado suddenly formed right in front of his car. I say those words because sometimes the world changes in a single breath, and we are left to witness the impossible. Tonight, we begin with a simple sentence that will anchor everything that follows. The ordinary interrupted by raw, elemental force. The camera is patient. The sky is not. Each clip we will show builds like a tightening fist, a countdown toward footage that will make you hold your breath and rethink what you call safe. I will guide you through 15 moments, caught by people who thought they were simply recording a storm. By the end, you will understand how quickly familiarity can become peril. Stay with me. From security cameras and dash cams to storm chasers and drones, the footage is unvarnished and immediate. Expect thunder. Expect the swell of music beneath my voice. And expect the storm sound design that will carry you into each scene. In a heartbeat, the asphalt ahead twisted into a funnel, right in his path. No warning. Pure surprise. My voice tightens as the footage reels backward. We watch the driver's hands on the wheel camera steady until the world is not. You feel the music swell, a low cello under my narration, while the storm sound design builds into a distant roar. The camera captures the surreal geometry of a funnel forming where open road once lay. The light changes. Shadows tighten. Every second stretches beyond its measure. We see the measured confidence of a person keeping a record of weather. Then the human response to the impossible. Listen to the tires. Hear the breath. The clip ends not with catastrophe, but with a stunned escape. An ordinary life reframed by an extraordinary moment. You begin to understand how quickly a horizon can betray you, and why we watch these things over and over, trying to find the split second when fate chose a different path. Security footage is unadorned truth. It does not dramatize, it only records. Here the glass awnings ripped away like paper by a hungry wind. Customers scatter, frozen sprinting, and pumps shudder as the vortex approaches. My narration drifts over the panic, the dramatic music punching in at the moment the roof takes flight. The storm sound design becomes clattery and urgent. Shards of light reflect off debris as it becomes airborne. Watch the slow motion where time seems to fray. Then we see the human fragments. A hand reaching for a child, a car rocking, a cashier ducking behind a counter. The security camera, impartial as ever, holds the frame as lives are rearranged in less than a minute. Storm chasers know danger. It's their vocation. Yet there are nights when the hunter becomes the hunted, their experience colliding with a tornado that refuses to be cataloged. In this clip, a team of seasoned chasers finds a funnel moving with a mind of its own, cutting off roads, collapsing escape routes. My voiceover moves between admiration and warning as the footage shows vehicles boxed in, radios crackling, the sky lowering like a lid. The dramatic music swells into a tense string section, the storm sound design a constant hungry undertow. You can almost feel the cold pressure drop against the windows. There is a lesson here. Knowledge does not grant immunity. Training sharpens response, but sometimes the elements rewrite the rules. We watch, silently judgmental and deeply respectful, as professionals confront something greater than experience. Traffic grinds to a halt. The hum of engines becomes a chorus of uncertainty. This clip opens with brake lights and impatient horns, and then the sky performs a theater of destruction, an invading funnel crossing lanes like a monstrous animal. Drivers are exposed, caught in open metal shells beneath a sound that drowns out all radio chatter. As the dramatic music tightens and the storm sound design fills the stereo field, you will see people emerge from cars, waving arms, shepherding children, and then retreat, as if deciding whether to stay or run. The highway becomes a slow-motion parade of survival choices. Some vehicles fare better than others. Some passengers find shelter in unlikely places. The tape teaches us about decisions made with seconds to spare, choices that live or die on judgment and a sliver of luck. A quiet backyard, barbecue chairs, a child's swing becomes a battlefield in the time it takes to blink. Toys skitter, a fence folds, the family home trembles as if someone grabbed it and shook. This is intimacy with fury. The tornado comes to life right at the threshold of family. My voice softens, describing children's laughter turning to screams in other footage. The dramatic music dips to emphasize the shock. Metal pinging, glass whispering, a far-off animal wail. The fragility of domestic life is on full display. Irrigation hoses tangled like seaweed, a tire half buried in a hedge, stunned faces of neighbors forming a new community of survivors. These are the small, human traces of a great force. A bus full of children, a driver who knows routes and ways of safety, and then a storm that gives them only seconds. This footage is the purest form of protective instinct. The driver's hands are steady, and the camera framed at the back catches the rising anxiety of small faces. I speak to you as if in the bus aisle, my tone both reassuring and taut, while the dramatic music underscores the frantic motion. The storm sound design intrudes with a roaring wind that seems to rattle bone and glass. The choices made inside that bus, where to position children, when to pull over, whom to calm, are the quiet heroism of ordinary people. When the bus finally finds cover and the children are shepherded to safety, relief is almost a physical thing. We owe a debt to those who decide under pressure, and in this clip, that debt is repaid. A column rising from the water, almost graceful until it learns to taste land. This is waterspout footage in transition. Beauty becoming beast as the funnel surges ashore, stripping sand, toppling small structures, rewriting a shoreline in moments. My narration captures both the lyrical and the lethal, the dramatic music shifting from soft strings to aggressive brass as the waterspout gathers appetite. Storm sound design adds the salt-tinged crash of waves and a wind that carries spray and menace. The camera follows as the column imprints itself on the land, leaving chaos where there was quiet. There is a moral ambiguity to these images. The ocean births a spectacle, and the spectacle becomes a threat. We watch with wonder, and with the knowledge that nature does not owe us courtesy. The world watches live, and then the world gasps live. A streamer narrates ordinary weather updates. Viewers type exclamation marks. Viewers call for help. Viewers watch as commentary dissolves into survival instinct. I narrate this with a modern consternation. Dramatic music cuts in with a sharp electronic edge. Storm sound design crackles through the broadcast. Overlay of live chat raw. Shaky video creates a strange intimacy. You are not a distant observer. You are a witness alongside thousands. Modern technology captures everything, but it cannot soften what it shows. The live stream gives us immediacy sometimes, complicity. We watch frightened people navigate a calamity we cannot reach but will never forget. When rain wraps a tornado, it becomes a ghost within a ghost. Hidden, dangerous, revealed only by flashes of lightning. These clips show a sky that refuses to yield to sight. Illumination comes in jagged, blinding intervals, sketching the funnel like a charcoal stroke. My voice lowers as the dramatic music becomes intermittent, synced to lightning. Each revelation, a cinematic beat. The storm sound design is saturated with the drum of rain. Lightning's crispness slices through the low roar. Each flash, a brief, brutal portrait of what is otherwise cloaked. Fear of the unseen, dread of something approaching under a veil, vulnerability of those who cannot rely on sight alone, terror of being surprised by what you cannot see until it is almost upon you. Mailboxes, porches, a man sweeping his driveway. A security camera mounted to guard the ordinary records the extraordinary. A house consumed, a tree turned to a splinter, a street rendered unfamiliar. I narrate with a mournful steadiness as the dramatic music becomes elegiac. and the storm sound design settles into a low, relentless howl. The footage is forensic in its detail. Shingles peeled like scales, a porch swing snapped free, a family's garden scattered across a yard. The camera, impartial, keeps watching. In the aftermath, neighbors gather, hands on shoulders, gazes on ruin. Reconstruction will follow, stories will be told. But that footage is a time capsule of obliteration, plain, terrible, honest. The image stays with you. A finger of wind unfurls, becomes a mountain of moving sky. The slow, terrifying expansion into a wedge that eats the horizon. This clip starts slender, then swells and folds outward across the landscape. My narration stretches to match the scale, the dramatic music layers into a heavy brass. And the storm sound design becomes almost subsonic, a pressure you feel more than hear. The camera backs away to show scale, a town dwarfed by a wall of winged livestock tossed like chapters in a book left open to the elements. This is scale articulated as threat. The wedge erases proportion, and the mind struggles to catalog what the eye reports. When a funnel becomes a horizon, you understand the true vocabulary of fear. It's overwhelming. Night hides things, and lightning reveals them with merciless clarity. In the dark, a tornado becomes a silhouette of pure intent, a black column outlined in abrupt flashes, each illumination a single terrible portrait. My voice grows solemn as the dramatic music amounts to a distant thunder chorus, and the storm sound design punctuates each flash. The images are cinematographic, blackness, then burst, then reveal, inviting the viewer to imagine what the human eye cannot hold for long. Houses appear like paper cutouts, trees throw monstrous shadows, and the funnel is an inky villain. Night footage is a study in contrasts. What is hidden, what is shown, and what remains unknown. It is the terror of partial information made absolute by the occasional, indisputable frame. The caption reads, "Night, funnel outlined by lightning strikes." A drone dares to come close, offering a perspective both clinical and intimate. It drifts, hums, and records as rooflines separate from walls. The footage is close enough to read the grain of the wood as it splinters. I narrate the drone's approach like a calm observer watching a crime scene. The dramatic music is tense strings. The storm sound design is a grinding wind that seems to tug at the drone itself. The camera's eye is unflinching. The moment a house disintegrates, the trajectory of debris, the slow fall of a family heirloom across a yard. This is evidence, instructive and heartbreaking. It tells of forces unbound and the quiet human relics left in their wake. A seasoned cameraman knows angles, light timing, and how to keep distance from danger. Yet here, training meets a moment that refuses containment. We watch him run, equipment in hand, the frame catching the raw blend of professional focus, sudden, primitive, self-preservation. My voice respects his craft and admires the instinct that made him move. The dramatic music is taut. The storm sound design, a clattering percussion debris, and adrenaline compete for the foreground. For a split second, skill and survival overlap, and we witness the human calculus of risk. This clip is a lesson in humility. Even the trained can be surprised, and sometimes the only sensible shot is the one that points you towards safety. B-roll caption, cameraman running as tornado approaches, near miss, and here we arrive, the apex. A wall of wind swallowing the horizon, a wedge so vast it seems to redraw the earth itself. This is the El Reno style moment, where nothing else in the frame dares to compete for attention. The sky becomes a moving continent, and everything beneath it looks like a toy. My narration becomes almost reverential as the dramatic music builds to its fullest. The storm sound design is an ocean of pressure. You will feel the scale not just with sight, but with a kind of auditory gravity, a low frequency that presses against the chest. As the wedge approaches, towns shrink, Roads vanish. Time stretches into a long, heavy interval. This is the footage that redefines fear. Not sudden, but absolute. An immensity of wind that refuses to be denied. We watch knowing that many will study, remember, and learn, because such a sight stays in the mind like a new truth about the world. Tonight, we witness the raw, unpredictable power of nature, beautiful, sudden, and deadly. Respect the storm, prepare before it strikes, and always heed warnings. Stay safe. As we close, let my words echo over the images we've seen. The faces, the decisions made in seconds, the quiet bravery that walks beside fear. Dramatic music fades, storm sound design trails off, and you are left with the stillness that follows such violence. If you were affected by these storms, seek help and follow local safety guidance. The footage is compelling, but the human consequences are where we must place our attention, toward recovery, community, and care. Learning and preparing. Let the echoes of tonight make you wiser, kinder, and better prepared when the next storm arrives.